looking outward this morning is including even more of our community than it usually does. We have an opportunity this morning, special for a number of reasons. One, because it's my last Sunday preaching, though I'll be here next Sunday as well. But also because there's some cool stuff coming down the pike through our Voyage of Discovery, our grade school children's ministries. And all year long they've been engaged in various service projects. But I want to invite them to come up and share a little bit more about one of them that's particularly pertinent, both because of what we're doing next Sunday and also because of something that's happening in our larger area. So if Carla Clark would come up, and any of the other character school representatives that were invited, or that agreed, everybody was invited, but not many agreed. I guess it's kind of intimidating to be up here in front of people. Yeah? Thank you for coming up. Now let's stand around here so they can see what this all is. How many of you have heard about this, the cages like this around the church? Clap your hands if you've heard about the cages. Okay, good. So you guys have been doing this project since the beginning of the fall, right?
Right. We started collecting towels in September.
Okay. So they're collecting towels and blankets,
right.
And we've got more than 2 giant cages full. And those were initially planned to be donated to who?
The Humane Society of West Michigan.
Okay. And do you guys remember whose idea this was? Do you guys remember? Not one person. Do you remember if there was a group of people who had this idea? It was the kids. They said, because there's the social action team, right, that works with our children's ministries, and there were these different projects for each month a different project. And the kids said, hey, we've got an idea for a project. Let's do something for the Humane Society. So they started this, right? And then it kind of grew and grew, because in the last couple months you've done other things too. Anybody remember other things you've done? Like, what's this?
We made dog treats.
And what are you going to do with the dog treats?
We are going to give them also to the Humane Society, I think. No, Paws for a Cause, sorry.
So you're giving some of them to Paws for a Cause, so another animal-related organization that helps train service animals, I think, right? And are you selling some stuff too?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, is it over there?
Oh yeah, the dog and cat toys.
You're selling dog and cat toys. And they're doing that, I think, next Sunday during the Animal Expo after the Reverence for Life service. So they've made dog and cat toys, and what else? Anybody?
We also made bandanas for them.
Bandanas for the dogs, yeah. So this is a fundraiser. Those funds will be given then to, I think, either Paws for a Cause or Habitat, or the Humane Society. But you changed your mind about what you were going to do with the towels, I heard. Is that true? You remember? That it's going to go somewhere else, not to the Humane Society in Kent County, but somewhere else? Oh, so this is something. I didn't know about this until the other day. There was a story on the news about something called a puppy mill. Have you ever heard about that before? Yeah. Do any of you guys have pets? Yeah? Where did you get your pet? You know? What? Where?
We got them from my dad's friend, I think. She
Okay.
owns a foster home.
So
She doesn't own it. She keeps pets at our house, which is also a foster home.
okay, so she's fostering pets. So some people get their pets from, yeah, you've got one too?
Foster home.
You got yours from a foster home, and you?
I got mine from a friend. I don't know, but we just stopped and got our 2 dogs.
Okay. So some of us know where we got them from. One more.
I got mine from a rescue shelter.
A rescue shelter. Some of us know where we got them from. Some of us may not always know. And those are some good places to get pets. People know how much people love pets. So they try to make a lot of pets available. And sometimes there are people who make them available in ways that are actually kind of hard for the animals themselves. So there's a place, I'm not sure if it was in Allegan County, where they had over 350, just a second, they had over 350 puppies. Many of them were pregnant, and many of them were very sick, and not in good home. So they took them to this Humane Society there, and we figured, some of the other folks at church thought, there's a gigantic need right now. Instead of waiting until next week and giving to the Humane Society here, why don't we help out somebody that we know needs it now? So they're going to give all of the blankets and towels that have been collected And is there time to collect any more?
Sure, we can collect till the end of the year. There's
Oh.
no set time on when we're giving those, so.
Okay, so you'll still be collecting throughout the end of the church year, so throughout late June. Okay. So if you want to find a way to help and know that it's going to be given directly to someone, you can either purchase some of these toys next week, or purchase some of the treats or bandanas, or you can bring some used blankets and towels to the church in the coming weeks, and those will be given to help offset the need in this community. You said the wrong one?
Rescue Center.
Oh, Rescue Center. I'm glad you remembered, and I'm glad you shared that. Now, before we go, first of all, I want you guys to give these youth a round of applause. Because this is part of what it means to be religious, is to find out where's the world hurting, and then to go there and do something about it. Yeah. Now, I've got a story to tell you guys, and it's actually for everybody, so it's not just for you. And if you want to sit down, you can. I'm going to probably kind of squat a little bit. So I told this story in the 9:45 service, and it's about another kind of animal and a relationship with an animal. It comes out of a book called The Little Prince. And you guys you've heard of that book? Yeah?
She was in the early service.
You were in the early service, that's right. So she's heard this once before. And she came back for more. So that's how good this story is. So there's a story called The Little Prince. And I wanted to share this with you guys today, particularly because we're going to be talking about saying goodbye and the fact that after next Sunday I won't be here. So The Little Prince is about this little prince from another planet, a long ways away, who winds up here on Earth. And he ends up in the desert. And he has lots of adventures in the desert. And one of his adventures is that he meets a fox. And he says, I want to play with you. And the fox says, I can't play with you. Why not? Says the prince. And he says, because you haven't tamed me yet. And the prince doesn't know what this means. So he says, well, tell me what this means to be tamed. And the fox says, it means to establish ties, to make connections with somebody. And the prince says, well, how do I tame you? He says, well, you have to show up at the same time every day in the same place, and you have to be very patient, and you have to be gentle with me. And eventually, I, who am a fox, and whenever I hear human footsteps, I think they're hunters, and they're going to come and shoot at me, or kids who want to pull my tail or chase me through the forest, I'll come to realize that your footsteps are different than anybody else's. And so I'll start to trust you. And then eventually, we will be tamed. We will tame each other. And so the prince does this. He shows up again and again, and he eventually tames the fox, and the fox tames him, and they have ties. And then the time comes when the little prince has to leave. And the fox starts crying. And the prince says, what? You're crying? And he says, yes, I'm going to miss you. And he says, but you wanted me to tame you. And he says, well, yes, that's true. But now you're crying, so it wasn't worth anything, because you're crying because I tamed you. And the fox says, no. You see, part of the taming was you would come and see me and you had hair the color of wheat fields. And I'm a fox. I don't eat wheat. I don't eat bread. What do I need fields for? But now that you have tamed me, when you're gone, when I look at the wheat fields, I will think of you and the color of your hair. So, you all have tamed me, and I hope that I have tamed you, that we have established ties, and that we will miss each other. We have been consistent with each other and shown up and gentle, sometimes more than others. And when I leave this place, there will be other children who I will look at and I will think of you. There will be laughter that I will hear and think of you, pictures that will be drawn, stories that will be told, and I will think of you. And hopefully, when I leave here, there will be things that you will remember about me that will bring you happiness. So thank you for letting me be a part of this community and parts of your families and your lives. That's all I had to say. So our leaders and learners will now be heading to their classes. Thank you all for sharing and helping to lead us.
don't hit your heads.
You guys need this. You got this?